Good afternoon. Welcome to Think Purple Math. Topic for today is solving multi-step equations. There's some bullet points there. One of the things you want to do is always look to see if you have a distributive property part of your problem. Always combine like terms where possible. Use inverse operations, and then always simplify your answer. If it's in fraction form, always reduce your fraction if possible. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at 6 little problems here. The sequential difficulty continues as we go. Question 1Q, 3 equals x plus 3 minus 5x. We'll start out with a little basic problem here. There's no distributive property, no parentheses that I see. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and combine like terms. We're going to combine our x's. I'm going to actually call this negative 4x plus 3. I typically put my variables on the left on either side just to have it. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3 on this side and subtract 3 on this side, keeping everything symmetrical. Bring down my equal sign. I get a 0 here. Bring down a negative 4x. And these two terms, it's a 0 pair as well, gives us 0. So now we have 0 is equal to negative 4x. Divide both sides by negative 4. I have my x. 0 divided by any number is 0. So our final answer for problem number 1, 1Q, is 0. We'll go ahead and flip it, take a look, and there you are. 0. Next question, 2Q, I have a negative 3 times the quantity 4a minus 8 in parentheses is equal to negative 36. You could technically divide everything by negative 3 here, and that's a step and that's an option that I'll show some of my regular students in class, but for this demonstration we're going to follow the regular protocol. That is, we're going to follow the distributive property. Negative 12a, negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Negative 3 times negative 8 is positive 24. And bring down your negative 36 as we go. Alright, the next step has to go in a certain order. We must subtract 24 on both sides. And we're not at the division step. That would be our final step. And I get a negative. 2 negatives being added gives you a larger negative by the addition rule. Negative 12a equals negative 60. Divide by negative 12, and a is equal to a positive 5. And you can verify that if you'd like by plugging 5 back in the original equation, and it would come out. There's our negative 5. Okay, now we're going to go up a little notch here. We've got a little more in this problem. First thing I look at, is there any distributive property that we need to apply, or any combining like terms that we could combine right away. So I see that the negative 2 here is where I'm going to begin this problem. So we're going to distribute that negative 2, or that positive 2 rather, and that's going to give me 10a when I multiply these two terms. And then I'm going to multiply there, and I'm going to get negative 12. The right hand side I have not really done anything with, and I'm simply going to just bring it down to the next line. Go from level to level. Okay, so now I've distributed the 2. Let's take a look. Can we combine any like terms? Yes, we can. The 4a and the 10a, or negative 4a and 10a, would give us 6a minus 12 is equal to negative 3a minus 39. On the right hand side, all I've done is brought it down each time. Okay, so the next step that we're going to take is we're going to add 3a to both sides. I could have done a different step, but I like to keep my variables positive. 9a minus 12 is equal to negative 39. Add 12 to both sides. The next step in the logical sequence, 9a. When I have a negative 39 added to a 12, that would give me a negative 27. And we're almost through with this problem. Divide each side by 9. A is equal to negative 3. The final answer. So when working algebra, just start at one level and work one step at a time. Don't try to rush through it. That's where students get into problems. They try to rush through things, make errors. Negative 3, final answer. All right, we'll go to question 4. Now we have parentheses, 2 parentheses on the left, none on the right. And there's a mystery number that is not visible. And the number is right here. That negative represents a negative 1, which I'm going to insert. So we're going to distribute twice on the left. 10 times x, 10x. 10 times positive 3 is 30. A negative 1 times a negative 9x would give us a positive 9x. And a negative 1 times a negative 4 would give us a positive 4. In the right hand side, we can actually combine the negative 5 and the positive 3, and we're going to call it x minus 2. So we've done a little simplification, not much, but we're going to keep going through. Now on the left, we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. We're going to get 19x, and the 30 and the 4 is going to be combined, and it's called 34, and x minus 2. Okay, we're getting closer, one step at a time. Next thing I'm going to do is subtract x on both sides. You may want to do a different step, and that's perfectly fine, as long as you get there. So we're at this state. 18x plus 34 is equal to negative 2. Subtract 34 on each side. We have an 18x is equal to a negative 36. And 18 is a factor of 36, which makes this question nice. That means that x is equal to negative 2. Or final answer. So we distributed in the first line. We combined like terms in the second line. And then we began applying inverse operations from there on. And ultimately got to negative 2. And negative 2 is our final answer. Okay, we got a couple more to go. And then this lesson is basically done. Let's look at this one here. Well, we've got, this one has a peculiar twist to it. That's why I included it in this demo. Okay, we're going to distribute here and here, but we're also going to distribute here and here. So we're going to distribute on the left, we're going to distribute on the right. 12 times 2x is 24x. 12 times 11 is 132. Now we'll move over to the right hand side. 12 times 2x is 24x again. And 12 times 12 is 144. Okay. Knowing me, I'm going to go ahead and try to get my variables together on one side. So I see 24x on the right, I see 24x on the left. Well, I'm actually going to subtract 24x on both sides. And in this example, I'm going to use an alternate color. 24x and 24x. Okay, now this group of x's cancels out. We have 132 left on the left hand side. But these x's also cancel out, but we're left with 144 on the right hand side. And all I have is 132 is equal to 144. This is a false math statement. And it's obviously not true. Those two numbers do not equal one another. Anytime you solve for an equation and you end up with a false statement, the only answer you can come up with is that there is no solution. There is no value of x that will make this answer or this equation true on both sides, left and right. So that is a no solution problem. Alright, one more for the road, and here it is. I tried to come up with a problem that had a little more difficulty to it, and here is the problem I picked. I have the distributive property here. I also have the distributive property there. And don't make the mistake of trying to subtract these two numbers here and here. That's a mistake. So we're going to take it step by step and work our way down and get to the final answer. Bring down the negative 11. We're going to distribute here. I'm going to get positive 10a. We're going to distribute there. I get positive 100. Keep my equal sign symmetrical, straight down. I'm going to carry the 4 down. I'm going to actually get this arrow out of here and this one so we can see better. Negative 5 times 2a, negative 10a. And negative 5 times positive 11 is negative 55. So we've distributed. Now we're going to try to combine like terms. The 11, negative 11 and 100 can be combined. And that's the same as 100 minus 11, which would end up with giving us an 89. I'm going to bring the negative 10a into the front. And I'm going to go ahead and take 4 added to negative 55, or 4 minus 55, and I'm going to get a negative 51. So that's our third step. We kind of worked it down. I'm going to always try to get my variables on one side, and I'd like them positive. 20a plus 89 is equal to negative 51. So we're getting closer. Subtract 89 on both sides. And don't hesitate to use a calculator if you need to. Negative 51 minus 89, it's the same as them being added. And that's going to give us negative 140 if we combine those two numbers. Now we're almost done. We're going to have one more step, and we're going to divide each side by 20. And we have an A. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. You could, if you needed to, take off a 0. You get a 7. So your final answer is A is equal to negative 7. And there is the steps. There's a process, and there it is, negative 7 final answer. go ahead and visit Thank Purple Mouth. If you happen to live where there's snow and you get snow in your area, make yourself a snowman and thank Purple Mouth. Have a good day.